Are you excited about your story today?
I think
I'm just
so.
excited it's not me.
I know, right? So I wrote the story last night and I just reread it and I think it's ready. I mean, it is. It's as ready as it will ever be.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, I think
I
it'll be
kind of like,
fun.
yeah, I kind of like having this mic in front of my turkey neck. Like, so now you can't see the wrinkles on my neck. So I think I like this new setup. But I am excited about hearing your story this evening.
Cool. What are you drinking?
I am actually, well, why don't you give your hints first?
We always do it
And
like this, don't we?
yeah, we do, but we should probably introduce ourselves as well.
Oh,
Oh,
yes, I forgot.
shit.
I thought I was just going to tell you a story just for kicks.
Yes.
Well, listeners, I'm Blake Roberts.
And I'm Amanda Kamada, and this is Forbidden. So yeah, give us your three hints. I can't wait to hear your story tonight.
Oh, the hints I wrote down are different. Hang on. Hang on, I can remember. My hints to you were catfish,
Yes.
Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and Bigfoot.
Right. So what I have tonight is has to do with none of those. I am drinking a vino tinto from Portugal this evening because it's pretty much all I had in my wine collection that was open. So cheers. Or not open, I guess I should say. I actually am wearing a new Natori bra that I got this past weekend. I did a 5 bra order from Nordstrom to sort of prepare for our photo shoot. So I'm wearing one of those today. And then I have a little trivia with catfish if you want to hear any.
Sure
I went a
do.
couple of ways with it. I have some key takeaways for catfish themselves. And so I'll read a couple of interesting facts about them. They have a unique set of barbells. So I think that the barbells are probably like those like nasty little things that they have that look like a mustache coming
Oh,
out of them.
yeah. I was like, are they lifting weights?
Um, they are bottom dwellers, which I kind of knew.
So they're not tops.
No, they're top, they're bottom dwellers, and they don't have teeth. Which, so if they're setting someone off, I guess it feels pretty decent.
That's not disturbing at all, Amanda.
No, not at all. Some species of catfish are electric. Um,
Wait, I'm sorry.
electric, like
What?
put off an electric charge.
Like electric eels? They're like that?
Yeah, I guess so. They're toothless omnivores. So that is something. And they range in size from around 10 feet long to the size of a toothpick. And lastly, not only do they have an extraordinary lifespan, they can live to be up to 60 years, but they are mainly found in freshwater and are on every continent except for Antarctica.
Oh,
So, no frozen catfish in Antarctica, but apparently they're on every other continent in the world. So,
that,
fried catfish can be had anywhere, pretty
that
much.
actually really surprises me. I always just think of them as like a southern thing.
Me too. I honestly did. But and then there's the other catfishing that is more of the online catfishing, right?
Hmm.
So wanted to talk about that as well because I just don't know what direction you're taking. So just a couple of little facts. Men are more likely to be catfishing predators and are also more likely to be a victim of catfishing. 64% of women over 40 are the most likely target of predators, while 24% of all catfishers pose as a different gender. They involve every age group from 18 to 70 plus. So there are catfish not only all over the world, real catfish, but apparently no matter your age, you can get catfished.
Just lots of different species of catfish out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I covered all the bases. So yeah, that's my pairing this evening.
I love it. Well, I went simpler, pairing a lovely white wine, a Bordeaux. And for Oklahoma, I went super basic. I'm wearing Hanes Tidy Whities today.
Oh, that is basic. I like it.
It just felt very Oklahoma to me.
I almost wore just a basic wife beater with no bra underneath it and went full on tit free, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to show my nipples quite yet because nobody's paying us.
Listener slash benefactor, give us money and Amanda will show you her nipples.
Yes, gladly.
I'll show you anything. I don't need money.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I,
just
I,
ask.
I would probably do it for no money, but I would like to have some money rolling in. That would kind of be nice.
I would too. Yeah. Okay. So then my third pairing is the classic 1972 film The Legend of Boggy Creek. Have you ever seen this?
I have not. Tell me
So
about it.
it is set in Fouke, Arkansas,
Oh,
which is in the southwest corner of the state, right
okay.
along the Texas Arkansas border.
Okay.
The closest town to it that maybe you've heard of is Texarkana.
Yep.
And so the film is like documentary style, sort of. There, I guess you could say it's sort of like an unsolved mysteries. It's like reenactments.
Okay.
So the film is from 1972, but most of the stories, I believe, are from like the 50s. So it's all these people around Fouke, Arkansas that have encountered Bigfoot.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it's super campy and ridiculous, and I love it. It's a movie I saw when I was a very small kid on TV. At some point, like it was out of print. I remember I got a VHS tape, like bootlegged, and paid God knows what for it. And now you can rent it on Amazon. It's like $2.99 right now.
Well, I think I'll have to check it out.
It's fun. It's not like an action movie where it's like, like high energy the whole time, but it's super entertaining. And I'm gonna play a quick little video. This is my favorite line from the movie because I always go back to Amy Sedaris. It sounds like a line from an Amy Sedaris skit. So, without further ado,
Can spin yarns for hours about his experiences with the wild creatures of the bottomland. Herb tells Travis to be on the lookout for a big old wild boar with double curled tusks he spotted a day or two earlier. Herb limps because he once accidentally shot part of his foot away in a boating accident.
That's amazing. It does sound like an Amy Sedaris
it
show.
doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm sorry, I want more context. How did he shoot his foot off, part of his foot off in a boating accident?
Yeah,
And
really. I mean,
and
in a
then
boating accident, I would think that more than likely your foot would get chopped off by a propeller.
right. And then later in the movie, they stumble upon tracks out in the by the river or the creek. And they comment how it only has 3 toes. And I'm like, oh no, that's just that guy that shot part of his foot off.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's super entertaining. The music is ridiculous. I mean, it's not poorly done necessarily. Like, I would say it's inspired. Like, you can tell that the filmmaker was really into his idea.
Right.
And I feel like the passion sort of comes through and delivers in a way that makes it watchable.
Right. Right.
But yes, so that's my pairing.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Dink.
All right, so a few of my sources, and I'll save one of these for the end because it's sort of, well, no, I'll go ahead and give them all right now. Okay, so my sources are an article from NBCnews.com, an article from the Oklahoman, an article, and this is going to be a fun story, and I've just started drinking. An article from the AdaNews.com. Ada is a small town in rural
I
Oklahoma.
believe I've heard of that before.
Yeah. And then woodape.org.
That just sounds funny to me.
Uh-huh.
Wood ape.
Okay. So, on the evening of July 9th, 2022, 53-year-old Larry Sanders reportedly drove 52-year-old Jimmy Knighton's pickup to a relative's residence where he allegedly confessed to killing Knighton. Sanders is now facing first-degree murder charges for the killing of Knighton. His defense filed for a speedy trial, alleging the state has been dragging its feet in, quote, an utter disregard for due process of law and the liberty of interest of citizens. The trial judge rejected the filing, considering Sanders' competency issues and giving the state a chance to get their own psychological expert. Basically, Sanders' request for a fast-track trial was shot down, with the judge saying the state's been acting diligently in securing their expert witness, because Sanders is claiming... Shit, what's that called? I didn't write this down on my notes. Like mental illness, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like momentary insanity.
Guilty by, or excuse me, yeah, claiming insanity.
Yes.
Momentary insanity.
That was sort of a very important part of that first little blurb, and I forgot to write it down. So we're off to a great start here, listener. Okay, so this story is bonkers, and the trial hasn't occurred yet, so it's easy to make jokes about this story, but I also want to be sensitive to the victim, the innocent until proven guilty, and to all families involved. So I'll try as much as I feel like it to do my very best, which is marginal at best.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
Well,
what
and
happens.
I'm sure my candor is probably not going to be as suppressed as yours. So, you know, I'm always speaking my mind, and I'm sure there'll be a few laughs here and there.
Well, I think just by me putting that disclaimer up front sort of exempts us. It's like an exemption. So now we can say whatever we want, because I've already said.
And we're like news people. Like you can't hold us accountable. You know, we're just actually giving you the facts that we know. You know.
And then we're sharing a lot of opinions about those facts.
Absolutely, as all well-respected journalists do.
Yes.
Or like, you know, armchair podcasters.
Feel free to editorialize. Thank you, I will. Okay, let's back up to July 8th, 2022, shall we?
Yes.
Larry Sanders of Atwood, Oklahoma, and Jimmy Knighton of Allen, Oklahoma, which is like 5 minutes away from each other, embark on a fishing trip along the Canadian River. In this particular area of Oklahoma, the Canadian River, a tributary of the Arkansas River, is about 80 miles from Oklahoma City, which is not confusing at all. Apparently, Oklahoma is not great enough to have a river named after it. Which is probably why it's just okay. Even the rivers there are like, you know what? Let's just pass through this state.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that they have dropped it now, but on Arkansas's license plate, like it used to say the land of opportunity. And I'm like, really? Because I've got to tell you, I don't see a lot of opportunity there, for me at least.
It's a bold claim, Arkansas.
I know. I think it's hysterical that they took it off the license plate. Now it just says the natural state.
Yeah, they're like,
you know what? That's not working for us. False advertising.
We've received too much hate mail. Okay, a little bit about this area. The most recent census I could find on Atwood, Oklahoma, where Larry Sanders is from, was from 2010 and lists the population size as 74.
Whoa.
74 total people.
And they're all related.
Probably a great deal of them are.
Yes.
In 1913, it was 150 people, to give you some context.
So people got out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or perhaps they died from all the inbreeding. I'm not sure.
Yes.
We're going to get hate mail from 74 people after this episode airs. Sorry. Okay. This rural area is characterized by its expansive prairies and plains that stretch across much of the region. These grasslands support agriculture and ranching, with crops like wheat, cotton, and soybeans grown in the fertile soil.
Sounds like where I'm from, which is a real shithole.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, honestly, it does. Yeah. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
We're going to get hate mail from Stuttgart, Arkansas now. Sorry, Megan.
Listen, we're from there. You
Mhm.
know, we can
I
say
can say
whatever we
whatever
want.
I want. I can say whatever I want.
Yep. Same.
Yep.
I'm sure you must be very interested in learning more about this fishing trip. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. Did I say fishing trip? I meant noodling trip. Are you
What?
familiar?
No.
Okay. Now, listener, you might be asking yourself such questions as, what is noodling? What does that have to do with fishing? And why should I care? Noodling, also known as hand fishing or hogging, is a unique
I'm
and
sorry. Hand fishing.
or
Okay.
hogging.
Or
It's a unique
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That just sounds so gross. Go on.
it gets better.
Okay.
Noodling is a unique and adrenaline pumping fishing technique. I'm so glad I got that because I reread this earlier and I kept saying adrenaline pumping fisting technique,
Well,
which
who
is just where
knows?
my mind goes.
Yes.
So it's a unique and adrenaline pumping fishing technique, popular in certain parts of the United States, particularly in the South, where apparently they can't afford fishing rods.
Oh.
Unlike traditional fishing methods, noodling involves catching catfish by hand. Here's how it works. Noodlers is what they're called, I guess. Noodlers typically wade into shallow waters or explore submerged holes, logs, or other underwater structures where catfish might be hiding. They then use their hands as bait, reaching into these hiding spots and enticing the catfish to bite onto their hand. Once the catfish clamps down, the noodler quickly grabs hold of its mouth or gills and pulls it out of the water. Noodling requires a considerable amount of courage and skill, as catfish can grow to large sizes and have powerful jaws. Additionally, noodlers must be cautious of other creatures that might inhabit these underwater hideouts, such as snapping turtles or venomous snakes like water moccasins.
Oh, is that all?
Uh-huh.
Sounds safe.
Uh-huh. While noodling is often considered more of a recreational activity or sport, rather than a traditional method of fishing, it remains a beloved pastime for many outdoor enthusiasts seeking an exhilarating and hands-on fishing experience.
It is hands-on.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Story over. Thanks for listening. Okay. Back to
So
the
these guys went to do this sort of fishing,
Yeah.
hand fishing,
And I'm really loading this up with
noodling.
noodling. I'm really loading this up with a lot of additional content because there's really not a whole lot of meat to the story.
No, there's a
But
lot of
that's
meat on
okay.
that catfish, I bet.
Okay, back to the story. So the suspect's daughter, sorry, I just had a burp, who is allegedly the girlfriend of the victim's son, was witness to her father's confession after he returned from the noodling trip. According to reports, the pair had been out in the woods when Larry claimed that Jimmy was trying to get away from him so that Sasquatch could eat him.
What? Where
Yeah.
did Sasquatch come in?
Just right now. He just
Oh,
popped in there.
just appeared. Sounds like somebody was on some meth.
Hold on to that thought.
Okay.
Larry would not let Jimmy get away, and the two got into a physical fight, with Larry allegedly punching Jimmy and striking him with a stick. They fought for an extended amount of time before Larry killed Jimmy by choking him to death. The
Oh my
Pontotoc
God.
County deputy sheriff, who arrested Sanders, reported that he, quote, seemed to be under the influence of illegal drugs.
You don't say.
He apparently had outstanding warrants over unpaid fines in 2 drug-related cases and was put on probation for 5 years in 2019 after he was caught bringing meth into the Pontotoc County Jail after a public intoxication arrest. So,
I'm fucking good, man.
yeah,
I know that Northwest Arkansas and Oklahoma full of meth.
personal
Full of-
experience?
No, not at all. Never did that in college. Kidding, I did.
Oh, there's a
Sorry,
talk of
Susan.
shame.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll talk about that sometime in a talk of shame. But yes, I have tried meth before. So sorry. Sorry,
you have all
Susan.
your teeth, so that's good.
So far.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, I would just be like a catfish.
You'd have a new nickname. So long, harbinger of syphilis, and hello, catfish.
Catfish Kamada.
Good.
Oh my God.
Okay. Sanders drew a map and provided directions that helped searchers find the body of Jimmy Glenn Knighton in a wooded area near where they had been noodling. I really try to throw noodling in here as much as possible because it's really the star of the show.
Yes.
He waived his right to a jury, and his trial was slated to begin on April 16th, which is today in our time and last week if you're listening to this episode when it airs. Here's an excerpt from The Oklahoman. Bigfoot is a mythical creature most commonly associated with the woods of northwestern United States and western Canada. In Oklahoma, a state legislator unsuccessfully tried last year to establish a Bigfoot hunting season. And here's a quote from Representative Justin Humphrey. I have some people that I know that are good, solid people who I will guarantee you 100% have said they have had experience with Bigfoot. We are not promoting killing Bigfoot, we're promoting hunting Bigfoot, trying to find evidence of Bigfoot. So, listener, that's the whole story, but I've got a few fun little things here. So I actually found, because they were noodling on the Canadian River, so I actually found on that website, that, woodape.org, I found 3 witness stories all right along the Canadian River, and so I thought I would read through them real quick. They're pretty short. Okay, so here's a fun story from 1992 in that same region about Bigfoot. Or Sasquatch, or if you're more of a tomato person, you know.
Potato.
Mhm.
Tomato.
Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
Here's a story. I was 8 years old, and we just moved to the country that had lots of wood all around the house. We had a little camper I played in. I had several chihuahuas and a Rottweiler. Well, one day I was playing in the camper, and the dogs were barking, running just a little ways from where I was. I decided to follow them. What came after was cute. It was a little fawn.
Aw.
I was going to chase it, but I saw this huge, smelly, 8-foot-tall, red mud clay color thing. As little as I was, I thought it was a tall man until I hollered, "Hey, who are you?" He looked at me and his face was so ugly and scary, I knew then he wasn't a man. He stepped right over a 5-foot fence. The little fawn ran right under it. He didn't catch fawn. I'm reading this verbatim, by the way. This is how the story was written. So, enjoy. I was in shock. I couldn't speak, so my dad told me to draw what I saw. He said it looked similar to a Sasquatch. That deer season, my dad was deer hunting. He had a deer right next to him. He was about to shoot him, and he heard something coming toward him, and the buck ran off. Dad stood up and yelled, "You scared off my deer! You're on my land!" Or something to that effect, and what I imagine is a very similar accent.
Yes.
He heard a high-pitched sound like a lion and a bull mixed together, and heard branches breaking over his head. He ran to the house and both brothers. They each got a gun. My mom called the sheriff, and he thought it was a prank, but they sent a deputy anyway. And when he heard those sounds, he said, "Call me if you kill it," and left. Did that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was sort of poorly written, so that's great.
Well, of course it's poorly written.
Yeah.
You didn't write it.
Nope, Oklahoma did. Now it was dark. The sun had set, so they gave up. The rest of the night it paced back and forth, making that high-pitched sound. So that was 1992. Here's one from 1998. Driving south on Indian Nation's Turnpike about 4 a.m. with light fog/drizzle. I was approaching the bridge over the Canadian River and slowed due to patchy freezing drizzle. To the right side of the road, before the sign, I saw a figure on the outer side of the guardrail. I thought it was a deer at first, but as I got closer, it shielded its eyes from my headlight. I was traveling about 20 miles per hour. It was standing upright, tall and thin, reddish-brown matted hair with some lighter skin showing through at the chest. What stands out from my memory was the tangled hair hanging from its arm while it covered its eyes from the lights. It did not look like the bulky, muscular artist's renditions of Bigfoot. There was no other traffic as I approached the bridge. I am the world's biggest skeptic, but the sighting left me shaken. I'm not sure what I saw. There was fog, and it was approximately 20 feet from the car as I passed. Just a quick little sighting on the side of the road. And here's one final one from just last year in 2023. And this is closer to Oklahoma City, and I think on the western side of Oklahoma City, so it's on the other end of the Canadian River, just downstream. We live near Oklahoma City and have a creek in the back of our property. My wife and I were in our car on January 7th, 2023 at 7:15 p.m. when we saw the figure as we pulled into our driveway. The headlights kind of lit it up like a reverse silhouette. I don't understand that, but okay.
Yeah.
A reverse silhouette.
What does a reverse silhouette mean? I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know how that happens.
I don't either. It doesn't matter. It was down in the trees about 100 yards from us. We think it was gray or tan, maybe light brown. So the other ones were reddish, and this one is different. So maybe this is Sasquatch, and those were Bigfoots.
Right.
We couldn't determine because of how the lights hit it. The elevation drops off by the tree, and I couldn't see its legs. It was walking at an angle away from us, turned a little to its left, raised its right arm up, placed it on a tree, paused for a brief second, then walked directly into the woods. So this thing was posing for them or something.
Wow.
It walked up to a tree and placed its arm on it, like
a senior photo.
Yeah.
Like when you go up to a tree like this.
This is the gay one. This is the gay Sasquatch because it's like it sees a bright light and it's like, oh, it's a camera.
Yes. You got the gay one.
Yeah.
Vogue.
Strike a pose. It was walking at nope, I already said that part. The speed it disappeared into the woods was fast. It did not appear to run because it wasn't bobbing up and down like it was. It seemed to take large strides and was gone. It was huge. The torso was very thick, as was its arm.
Wonder what else was thick.
Yeah. You know what they say
we
about
haven't
big
ever
feet.
seen like big feet and Bigfoot. Yeah, Bigfoot, big dick.
Yeah. It's probably hidden under a massive bush, but still.
Oh, gross. I bet it stinks.
I wonder if it's has like straight hair and then it just has like curly pubes, just like
No doubt. This episode's kind of turning into a talk of shame / Bigfoot episode.
This episode sponsored by Catfish. I don't know. When we got into our house, I walked onto our back patio and could smell something like a skunk scent. This could be totally coincidental, but it's something I noticed. Based upon the trees where the figure was observed, I would estimate the height to be at least 7 foot 6 inches. Also, the woods it went into were pretty thick. I would hurt myself moving into the woods in the daylight as quickly as it moved in the dark. The entire encounter lasted about 5 to 6 seconds.
Wow.
And that, my friends, is the story of multiple stories of Bigfoot and noodling and murder and meth.
Wow. Well done. Well done. That was entertaining to say the least.
That's all I could hope for. There wasn't a lot of it because the trial is happening today, April 16th.
Well, we'll have to keep our listeners abreast of what is happening with said trial.
I'll turn on Google alerts.
Yes.
Which I won't really, but I'll hopefully remember to check in on that at some point.
Yes. What is that thing in your wine? Is that something to keep your wine cold?
Yeah. So it's a little thing that goes
looks like a butt plug.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Oh, yes, I did use it for that. I forgot to wash it. But yeah, it's stainless steel, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got liquid inside of it, and so
Mm-hmm.
you freeze it, and then it keeps your thingy cool.
Yeah. Or it can double as a butt plug.
It's multi-function, multi-purpose. Ow, my leg.
Can you imagine like looking in like it looks like something that's from like Sharper Image or something like that? Like you're in like whenever they used to have magazines, I feel like they don't have magazines anymore on airplanes after COVID. Like I feel like
Yeah.
everything is like QR coded and everything like that. But I used to enjoy the Sharper Image catalogs, and it looks like something from Sharper Image. And then I just like could see like a skit on Saturday Night Live with that, and it's like, keep your wine chilled, use as a butt plug.
Do you remember that other magazine? It was called like Hammaker Schlammer
Yes, yes,
or
yes,
something of that nature.
yes, yes, I do.
The 90s
Why can't we have them back?
and
And
Radio Shack.
interestingly, these Bigfoot sightings were in the 90s
Yeah, except
for
for
the
that.
most part.
Yeah.
I remember the Sharper Image, or it could have been the other one that you just mentioned, the Hammer Schlemmer or whatever. Um,
That's what my
used,
mom called it.
yeah, Hammer
Or
Schlemmer.
whatever the wrong one was.
That's
I have to
hilarious.
Google it now. Oh
But
my
they used
God.
to have like
I just opened my
so good.
Google and that was the first thing in there. That's a
Oh, that's
massive
so good.
dong.
Oh my God, it's huge, like and thick.
Yeah. So, listener, to give you context, a friend earlier today sent me an article from, it was like the San Francisco Chronicle, and it said, O.J. Simpson confesses to murder on his deathbed, or something like that.
Yeah,
So
it
there's
seemed
no way,
legit. It seemed legit.
yeah, there's no way I wasn't going to click on it. So I did, and then I immediately texted it to Amanda, and then she clicked on it. And
Yes.
it's that photo that we've all received. It's that fake link that goes to the photo of that big guy with a massive dong sitting on the side of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He
got a good
still has.
chuckle.
Yeah, he still has the reach.
He still looks great after all
Yeah.
this time.
After all these years.
How long has that been going around?
Oh God, a long time. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like I haven't seen it in a while. But when I saw it today, I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Because I legit thought, like, I'm like, "Oh my God, did he really confess on his deathbed?" Because sometimes people
Yeah.
do that kind of crazy shit. Although I heard that like a lot
Well,
of people like were made to sign NDAs who came to see him and all that kind of stuff. But what's he going to sue them now? Like for
from beyond the grave.
from beyond the grave. Did I
So I
send
have
you
to
the
share.
meme? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Well, just to wrap that up, I sent this to a few people. I sent this to Megan, who we've talked about before. And she immediately replied and said, I'm hesitant. Bob, who's her boyfriend, Bob was just looking at the news and there was none of this. I feel like it's a trick. So I responded and said, it literally just came out, but I'll talk about it in the next episode if you want to wait. Just sort of teasing her. And then she sends me an article. O.J. Simpson's deathbed double murder confession rumor totally false. And I said, ugh, girl, just click the damn link.
Yeah. Why is she
So then
so
she says,
distrusting of you? I wonder.
I fucking knew it. See, true crime enthusiast. I had to look for myself, lol.
That
But
is
then I sent this
hysterical.
to Holly, who is our former colleague and friend.
Yes.
And so she responded immediately. Said, shut up. Bunch of exclamation points. And then a few seconds later, she replied and said, you fucker.
Oh my God. I wonder if she listens to our podcast. She should if she doesn't. She may
I
not
talked to
have
her
time with
ages
all those
ago.
kids.
I talked to her ages ago before we even did this. I was like, hey, do you listen to true crime podcasts? Because she also loves true crime. And she was like, no. She's like, I just haven't gotten into podcast yet. So I don't think that she has.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll pressure her to do it now that we've called her out.
Yes, Holly, we're looking at you.
Yeah.
We're watching you.
Your intro episode, Holly, should definitely be the Sasquatch story.
Yes. Oh, run, don't walk to listen to that.
You were about to say something. Do you remember what it was?
I probably already forgot it.
Think
Oh,
about
did I send you that meme about like OJ going to like I think it was like him being picked up from like the cemetery or something like that. And it was like a extended limo Bronco.
Oh, no, but someone was telling me that.
Oh my God, it was hysterical. I sent it to Susan and she was like, "Is this real?" I was like, "No, it's a meme." I
That
was
would
like,
have
"It's
been
funny though."
amazing.
I know, right? I mean, somebody should have just done that just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sent him there. I don't think he donated his body to science though.
Probably not. He doesn't want people cutting him up.
No, he's already done that to somebody else. Excuse me, two other people. Oh gosh. Well, that was an amazing. I actually love that story. I like it when we have ones that are a little more or a little less involved and that we can play with a little bit more, you know? So that
Yeah.
was a really good one. And I'm going to have to follow the trial because I can't imagine that it's going to last more than like a week, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. The guy did it.
Maybe we'll have an update by the next time we record. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the really long stories that they're overwhelming because you want to trim them down enough so you have like a short, compelling story, but you don't want to leave anything really important out.
Right.
And it is sort of daunting. So I was nervous about this one because there's really not much to it yet, but I thought it worked.
Yeah. Well, it was great.
Um,
So,
Amanda,
yeah.
where can people find us?
Well, interesting you should ask that, Blake. They can find us at www.theforbiddenpod.com. Follow us on social media at The Forbidden Pod on both Facebook and Instagram. I believe on TikTok as well at The Forbidden Pod. And then we just don't really talk about X/Twitter because we hate Elon Musk. So we don't really do much with that. But you can listen to us on our website or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And we would love to hear your story ideas. We're really not getting a lot of hate mail, which I'm really pissed off about because I was hoping that we would have some hate mail to actually read in our Talk of Shame. But if you would like to do that, please email us at hello@theforbiddenpod.com.
At minimum, just to say hi and tell us what you don't like about us.
Yes. Yes. I know we're all very busy, but I know you're not busy because you're listening to our podcast and I know you're not working your full fucking day at work. You know, you're fucking around. You have time to send like a 5-second email to us, even if it just
You
says
need
fuck off.
you need a break. Go sit your ass on the toilet. Take a nice long shit and send us an email.
Yes. It's the least you could do. We're putting our time in for you.
We sure are. God, we do
Yeah,
so much.
we do. You
And
do
we
even
get
more
no
than I
thanks
do.
for it.
Yeah, we get no thanks or actual fuck offs for it.
Or money.
Yeah.
And in lieu of money, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple or Spotify.
Yes, please do that. Well, Blake, thank you so much. That was amazing story.
Amanda, thank you for listening.
And now, I guess I would say that, I hate being in it's one of my pet peeves. It's like when people say in like meetings, like this is for people who work in the corporate world, by the way, and people say, I'm gonna noodle on that. So now every time I hear that phrase, I'm gonna noodle on that, I'm gonna think about noodling catfishing ways. And I'll just
Yeah,
start laughing.
definitely.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a cute little giggle.
Yes. Well, thank you. And I'm very excited to move over to our Talk of Shame. And listeners, as always, Thank you.
Thank you.